What's going on, everyone? Today is February 21st of 2023. Late yesterday, news broke that Jansen Panettiere, the younger brother of more famous actress Hayden Panettiere, suddenly passed away at the age of 28. Currently, a cause of death is not known in this story. When I began making videos about 5 or 6 years ago, this was very uncommon for a cause of death not to be known in the media. But almost every celebrity death recently seems to have this detail alongside it. Now, what we're going to talk about in this video is how the deaths of actors in Hollywood are scripted by the language of Gematria, the ancient mystical practice that assigns a numeric value to each letter of the alphabet. The language is very simple. We start with the ordinal cipher, which uses the standard 26-letter alphabet, numbering each letter relative to its position. This cipher branches off into what we call the base 4 ciphers, where the alphabetic order is simply reversed, so that Z is 1, Y is 2 through A is 26, or reduced, where the rules of numerology are used to reduce every double-digit number to a single digit. Using the standard alphabetic order, Jansen Panettiere's full name has a value of 239. News of his death broke on February 20th, which was the first day of new moon, numbered 1239, via the Brown lunation system. And this video will explore how this death is connected to the moon. February 20th, the date of the news, was also the 51st day of the year. Using the reverse alphabetic order, the word moon sums to 51. Panettiere's birthday, September 25th of 1994, also has numerology of 57. And using the standard alphabetic order, the word moon equals 57. But back to his full name, 239, dying just as lunation 1239 began. In this news article, there's 2 television series listed that he acted in, the first being The Walking Dead. And in The Walking Dead, Panettiere played a character named Casper. Using the Jewish or Latin method of Gematria, which is seen on the left side of your screen, this uses the ancient Latin alphabetic order with modern English characters at the end. Notice how the name Casper has this same value of 239, matching his full name. The other show that's listed here in the news was Even Stevens, and Even Stevens was his very first film credit, all the way back in the year 2002. In the reverse alphabetic order, notice how Even Stevens has a gematria value of 147. This number here is significant to the death of Jansen Panettiere. First of all, notice how Jansen was born on a date with primary numerology of 147. We simply add the date as we would say it out loud. 9 plus 25 plus 19 plus 94 sums to 147. Measuring from his birthday to the date he died, which was February 19th, 2 days ago, we find that he died 147 days after his birthday. In this news article, there's an allusion to an Instagram post that Jansen made about 3 weeks ago, where he was with his sister, Hayden. Here we see it took to Instagram to share a picture of Hayden giving him a haircut. And the whole riddle of this passing is connected to this image. Here's the shot from Instagram that was posted on January 24th, about 3 weeks before he died. And this image was curiously posted in black and white for some reason. Of course, there's deep-rooted occultic knowledge in symbols like this, and the big part of focus here is the shirt that Jansen is wearing in this image. Notice how it says Doors. This is the logo for the 60s and 70s rock band, The Doors. And we're going to explore how this passing is completely connected to the numerology of Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison died on 7/3 of 71. When you multiply those digits, 7 times 3 times 7 times 1, you get a product of 147. Jim Morrison reportedly drowned in a bathtub. And in the capital letter methods of Gematria, which are based on the standard alphabetic order, but also use capital letters, either mixing them in or adding them at the end. The name Morrison sums to 147. So do the words drown and the word bathtub. Another famous singer who died in a bathtub was Whitney Houston. And check out what happens when you measure from the deaths of Jim Morrison to Whitney Houston. Exactly 2,119 weeks. Whitney also died 223 days after the anniversary. This reflects the date that Jansen Panettiere died, 2/19 of 2023. This bathtub riddle is a really big part of what we're going to look at in this video. There are several famous actors, singers who died in a bathtub, and this article does a good job of laying it out. You'll see that two of these people, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, are related. Bobby Christina Brown was the daughter of Whitney Houston, and both of them were found dead in a bathtub. Bobby actually survived her ordeal but ended up in a coma and died about 6 months later. Another famous actress who drowned in a bathtub was Judy Garland. And we'll explore how these all connect. Of course, Jim Morrison, another big one here. So first off, let's talk about how this connects to The Doors. As seen in one of his last Instagram photos, his final one with his sister Hayden, which was in black and white, he's wearing this Doors t-shirt. In the alphabetic order, Doors sums to 71. And 71 was the year that Jim Morrison suddenly passed away. In Gematria, the name Morrison has a value of 121. Jim Morrison's full name, James Douglas Morrison, also sums to 121 in reverse reduction. This matches the value of Jansen Panettiere, also 121. Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, her name also has this 121. When this image was posted, not only was it 121 days after the birthday of Jansen Panettiere, but his sister, Hayden, was also 12,210 days old. The phrase blood sacrifice also summing to 121. And there's nothing coincidental about this. This was all done for a good reason, as they know it's connected. Jim Morrison's musical career is said to have began in 1963, although the Doors did not form for a couple years later. But this number 63 is very significant as well. Jim Morrison was born on a date with numerology of 63, 12 plus 8 plus 43. In the reduction method, the name Jim Morrison equals 63. And Morrison died in the city of Paris. Notice how Paris sums to 63. The name Jansen also equals 63. And measuring from the birthday of Hayden Panettiere to her brother Jansen, we find Jansen was born exactly 63 lunations later. A lunar phase measures the time from new moon to new moon. Remember, Jansen's death connected to the new moon, 1239. But this number 63 is significant for a couple other reasons. Whitney Houston, who also famously drowned in a bathtub, was born in the year 63. And the name Whitney Houston in Gematria sums to 63. Her daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, was even born on the 63rd day of the year. This also connects to Judy Garland, found dead in a bathtub. The name Judy Garland equals 63. Her full name was Frances Ethel Gum, which sums to 630 in the Latin value. Another number that connects all of these celebrities is 34. Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobby Brown, was born on March 4th, the date written 3/4. Her death in 2015 fell exactly 340 days after Hayden Panettiere's birthday. When this image was posted on Instagram of Hayden giving her brother a haircut, this happened when Jansen was exactly 340 months old, including the end date there. And this number shows up in all of these names. Whitney Elizabeth Houston, 304 ordinal. Jim Morrison, 304 with capital letters. Frances Ethel Gum, 340 in reverse caps. But what this all really points to is the number 28. Jansen died at the age of 28, and this is a number that's heavily connected to this story as well. When Jim Morrison died, it was a span of 208 days after his birthday. And not only was he born on a date with reduced numerology of 28, but he also died on a date with reduced numerology of 28. In Gematria, his band, Doors, sums to 28, just like the word kill in that same method. Jansen Panettiere died at the age of 28, and his death fell on a date with a life lesson number of 28. 2 plus 19 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. Measuring from the date of the Instagram photo to the date of this news story, February 20th, was a span of 28 days. He died exactly 2,800 weeks after Judy Garland. His death also fell 208 days after the anniversary of Bobby Christina Brown's death. The number 28 connects to the Panettieres for another reason. Both Jansen and his sister Hayden were born in the city of Palisades, New York. In Latin Gematria, Palisades sums to 280. Now, 280 is a number I talk about from time to time. In the ancient Hebrew language, the phrase for total solar eclipse sums to 280. Hayden Panettiere was born on August 21st. August 21st was the date of the first Great American total solar eclipse that passed over the United States. On that date, Hayden Panettiere was exactly 28 years old. Her brother died 2,008 days after that eclipse. Last year in November, child pop star Aaron Carter allegedly drowned in a bathtub. And notice how he was 34 years old, a number which I talked about earlier in this video. Well, if you measure from the death of Aaron Carter to the death of Jansen Panettiere, it was 107 days. And this is important because 107 is the 28th prime number. Let's talk about how this is also connected to the number 33. In ordinal gematria, the number 28 has the same values as 33, both summing to 156 and 141 in the ordinal methods. 33 is a number connected to ritual human sacrifice. Ritual human sacrifice sums to 895 in this Latin method, just like the number 33. And this was a number coded into the death of Jim Morrison. When Jim Morrison died, he was 330 months old. This reflects the prime number gematria of his band, the Doors, summing to 330 with primes. Jansen Panettiere was born 330 days before his sister's birthday, measuring from September 25th to August 21st. When Jansen died, it was exactly 33 weeks after the anniversary of Jim Morrison's death. So I explained how both 28 and 33 sum to 156 in gematria. When the Instagram photo of the haircut was posted online, Hayden Panettiere was 33 years and 156 days old. Consider how these numbers are also connected to the eclipse code. Eclipse equals 33, eclipse the sun 156. Notice how the Doors also equals 156 with capital letters. And again, this was heavily connected to this first Great American Eclipse. Hayden was 28 on that date. Her brother died 2008 days later at the age of 28. Jim Morrison was a member of the 27 Club. He died around the same time as Jim Hendrix, Janis Joplin, many other famous musicians dying at the age of 27. Morrison died in the city of Paris, which has double gematria of 27 and 270. Jansen Panettiere died 27 days after the Instagram photo was posted online. The name Jansen equals 27 with the S exception. When Jim Morrison died, it was 207 days after his 27th birthday. But what if we translate this to just days? Jim Morrison was exactly 10,070 days old when he died. This represents the number 17 in gematria. The name Hayden Panettiere in the alphabetic order sums to 170. This is the reverse value of sacrifice 170. This sacrifice connected to the moon, which has gematria of 170. Furthermore, if you take Hayden Panettiere's full name, with her middle name Leslie included, notice how it sums to 248 in the alphabetic order. The name James Douglas Morrison also sums to 248. And when the Instagram photo was posted, Jansen was exactly 28 years and 4 months old, which has the same digits. The same digits as human sacrifice, summing to 248, syncing up with Morrison and Hayden's full names. So Jim Morrison died on July 3rd. Excuse the typo there. This was the date he died, July 3rd, 7-3. Jansen died 73 days after Jim Morrison's birthday, or 2 months and 11 days. The numbers 73 and 211 are connected by this sacrifice code. The phrase ritual sacrifice sums to 73 in reduction, whereas the word sacrifice on its own equals 73. Now think about how this connects to the calendar in a very powerful way. The date written 7/30, which represents 73 in numerology, is the 211th day of the year. The phrase ritual human sacrifice equals 211. Notice how July 30th also leaves 154 days in the year. 154 is the ordinal value of ritual sacrifice. So this just exhibiting how the calendar is coded around this language of Gematria. In standard English Gematria, the word bath also sums to 211. And think about how this connects to Whitney Houston, who was found dead in a bathtub, and she died on the date 2/11, or February 11th. When Whitney Houston died, she was exactly 600 lunations old. Now, one lunar year is 12 lunations. So this means Whitney Houston was exactly 50 lunar years old when she died. Notice how the names Panettiere and Morrison both equal 50. So does the Doors with the S exception. Next up, we're going to take another look at this haircut photo that the Panettieres posted to Instagram back on January 24th. Now, at the time that this all occurred, Jim Morrison would have been 79 years old. Notice how the word murder sums to 79 in the alphabetic order. Whitney Houston died 7 months and 9 days after the anniversary of Jim Morrison's death. But check out the prime number connection here. The 79th prime number is 401. The word haircut has Latin gematria of 401. And when the Panettieres posted this haircut photo, Hayden was 401 months old, the same age she still was when her brother died 27 days later. Furthermore, this photo was posted 4,001 days after the death of Whitney Houston. And look at how this number connects to Gematria. The reverse of 401 is 104. In ordinal, the Doors sums to 104. If you add Jim Morrison to the Doors, you get another 104. Jansen Panettiere's full name sums to 104 with the S exception. Of course, the S exception, the only letter that's different is S. Since S is the 19th letter, 1 plus 9 is 10. And in this cipher, we only reduce it once. Meanwhile, Hayden Panettiere's full name also sums to 104 in reduction. The name Whitney also gives us a 104 in the alphabetic order. But check this out. When you look at the number of sidereal months or lunar orbits, measuring from the birthday of Jim Morrison to the birth of Hayden Panettiere is exactly 611 sidereal months. This measures the time it takes for the moon to complete one orbit as it connects to the stars. 611. Well, the name Doors equals 611 with triangular numbers. The word haircut equals 611 in standard English gematria. 611 and 911 are numbers connected to sacrifice in the satanic method. Satanic gematria, summing to 666 in satanic gematria. A cipher very connected to this 666's number. Well, in this cipher, the name Whitney Elizabeth Houston sums to 1109. And as it turns out, Jansen Panettiere died 11 years and 9 days after Whitney Houston. There's a bit more here as well. The date that Jansen Panettiere died has numerology that connects completely to the word kill. If you take all the numerology, 64, 28, 19, 44, and 17, these are all values of the word kill, including the Hebrew language. But kill gives us the 64, 28, 17, and 44. What also stood out is that Jim Morrison died at this address, 1719. Look at this. 1719 was the address that Jim Morrison died in. And both of these numbers in the numerology of Jansen's death. There's a little bit more here. Feel free to check the links down in the description below. But I just wanted to get this riddle out there so people understood just how crazy the scripting behind some of these news stories are. All right, everyone. Peace, love, God bless. And we'll talk to you next time. See ya.